Home, auto, business insurance.
We're going to talk about right now and explain the difference between water backup and flood insurance, because those are two very different things in the insurance world.
Right.
And that's why we got the expert here to talk about it.
Oh,
Look
you
at that,
just put
teed
too
you up.
much pressure
Oh,
on me.
oh.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So, like all this little heavy rain that we've been having, you can imagine how many calls, people coming in, they panicking, they don't know what to do. I'm pretty sure it's like frustrating, or it's probably scary to some people. You can really physically, like you can hear the water rushing up into your house. That gurgle, ooh, that's a bad sound. That's a bad sound, that gurgle.
Turn off the radio. There's a fix.
Turn off, just fix that. So that's what most people are calling about the water backup in their home. It's basically just when your actual sewer or drain backs up into the lowest level of your home. So nothing from like the foundation, nothing from windows coming in from, like, some people got those little block windows or like they low level, nothing like that. Nothing leaking in from the structure is actually coming in from the drain that's the lowest level of your home.
Okay.
So that's really important. The biggest and most important part about it is people like, oh, that's happened, I'm gonna be covered. Like, this is great, this is definitely what insurance is for. But if you actually didn't add it to your policy as an endorsement separately, you don't have the coverage.
So not all policies have water backup.
No, because it's an endorsement. It's an elective. You have to select it, and then you have to select the limit. So one person that got 5,000 versus somebody that got 50,000, somebody else that got 200,000, depending on how your home is set up. Some people got the same amount of water backup as a replacement of their home, because depending on how bad it is, it could destroy the whole level of the home. It depends.
Well, so people that are redoing their basement or have that finished basement,
Yes.
and folks got that man cave and they got the books and they got the TV and all the sound system, it gets sideways quick.
Real quick. The funniest part is when people tell me they store the most valuable things they have in their basement. I get so scared. Why do you have the most valuable things in your home in the most dangerous room in the house? Just put it in the bathroom. Just sit it in the bathroom, like, oh my goodness. So, you kind of, yes, you do have to evaluate stuff like that. If you take a, just a blank basement, no drywall, no floors, no design, no nothing, start putting bathrooms, carpeting, wood, nicer furniture, like whatever you're doing down there. People turn sports rooms, people put workout equipment. You start putting a gym or something like that. You need to start thinking about that to protect your assets. That's the first thing you want to think about. So, and
it's not super expensive from an endorsement perspective, right?
It's not,
especially considering the loss that it covers.
Yep.
Okay.
It's not that expensive.
So that's water backup. Yep. So talk to us about flood insurance.
Well, flood like Noah's Ark.
Okay.
It's kind of like that. Like Noah's, like flood.
I'm old, but I ain't that old.
Like
I
flood.
ain't around for that.
If you are going to be protected by flood, the very first thing you got to do is buy a flood policy. It's not a home insurance policy. They are two different things.
Completely different things.
Two different things.
Can everybody get a flood policy?
Everybody can get a flood policy, but some people are required to get a flood policy.
So there's like a flood zone,
yes,
right? So
exactly.
And it's predicated by like FEMA?
Yep.
Is that who does it?
Yep.
Okay.
So it's zoned out, like you just high risk, you just low risk, what's happened in the past. They basically, they're using insurance of predictability. What has happened in the past to predict what's going to happen in the future. And then depending upon where you actually are, the home has to be up. So it has to have a certain height also too to, qualify and get what you're supposed to get.
So does the insurer, would our company tell people who needs flood insurance?
No.
How do you know as a homeowner that you need it?
Normally, either your mortgage lender, so you can't even buy this home without also purchasing and keeping and maintaining the flood policy.
Okay.
Sometimes your county or not your county, I apologize, your municipality, like your city or something like that, they'll say, this particular property has to have XYZ, but most people always get it from the lender.
Okay.
And if you even if you're not even getting a mortgage, or like let's say you buying cash for it, it's still a trail of what was required at that home, what was done in the past. You know, the flood certificate is what it's called. It follows the home. It doesn't follow the owner. So that's something else.
So the home has it, not the owner.
No.
Does the home pay for it? 'Cause that'd be sweet.
No, the owner has it, like the owner. But I'm just saying, like if your home requires flood insurance, it's on record. It's not a surprise that you need flood insurance. Yes.
So people can't call us and go, "Hey, am I supposed to have flood insurance?" Because we can't tell them.
But we could go look at the flood zone for them. Like if we had enough information, we could go in and say, hey, you are at higher risk, or there's 0 point chance that something might happen. You can get it. And those are people that's paying just like a couple $100s. They might, I'm gonna be real, maybe like $300 to $600 if you don't need it. That's nothing. You like, just by chance. So when you do need it, flood insurance can turn around to cost more than your homeowners.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got a plan. If you're looking on a budget and you're looking at this house, you fall in love with it, it's in a valley.
Yep.
And you live in a rainy area.
Yep.
Do you know of any flood areas? We're in West Bloomfield. Are there flood areas that we know of around here?
I don't think it's any flood areas specifically like to our areas. What people always think about when you think about flood areas, they think about when they hear the community saying, oh, our city has, it feels like when it rains, it's a lot of water. That's not a flood. That's your city not maintaining their sewage. That's your city problem.
That sounds gross.
Yes, it does. It stank.
People, I saw people jet skiing in it the other day. I'm like, get out of there, people. That is not rainwater.
Right. That's literally a really area that's prevalent. It's like Oak Park. Over here.
Yeah.
It's always like that in Oak Park.
Ferndale, that whole area.
That little area kind of right there, it's always like that.
Don't go in that water.
Don't go in the water. It's probably dirty and nasty.
It is definitely dirty.
It's like, like tub water. You ever seen people take a bath and then they get out and you be like, so you clean now? You got out of that? You clean. You just got out of that and you clean. All right now. Okay, you clean.
Wait a second. Did it start out that dirty or did you make it that dirty?
It's like, it's become creamy. But whatever.
Mr. Bubbles, come take me away.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do you have anything else we should talk about in terms of flood insurance or water backup?
No, it's scary. It's horrible.
Do they have to declare a flood, right?
Yes.
So just because we think it might have been a flood, they have to say it was a flood.
Yep.
And one of the ways I know this, your neighbor has to have flood too, right? You can't be the only flood on the street. That's not a thing.
You cannot. But the requirement is at least 2. You would think it got to be a bigger, bigger population. Like how many people do this got to affect? Just 2.
2.
It only got to affect 2. But it cannot only affect you. It's kind of almost impossible that it only affects you.
It's like a micro flood.
They think you flooded your own house.
That's a thing, I bet.
That's you know what these tricksters. That's probably why they made that rule. They got the little water hose out and they just left it on. They went to the movies and came back.
I remember I was 5 or 6 years old. I was taking a bath with my cousin. He was about the same age. And we decided at one point during the bath that we should take a shower. And so we turned the shower on and we were in there, God knows how long. And my uncle came up, man, fit to be tied. This man was angry. And we had no idea why he was so mad and yelling at us. But we flooded the basement.
How?
Because the water seeped over the tub because we had the bathtub full when we turned the shower on. Because we're 5. We don't know shit. We don't know. We flooded the basement and ruined like the ceiling and like 2 or 3 levels of the house. That's a great story.
It is.
Hi, cousin Chris. I saw you naked.
Please. Uncle, please forgive Terry. Please forgive Terry.
You know not what he'd do.
Yeah.
So that was not really a flood, but it felt like one when I was 5.
Flood.
Yeah.
Man-made flood.
Yeah, he didn't. I wonder how it worked out.
Claim denied.
Yeah.
That's how it worked out. Claim denied, Uncle. Send your nephew back home.
Yeah, that's right. Don't let him stay over. In fact, I don't think I ever slept over again. Now that we're talking about it.
Oh.
No, it's just some trauma. I'm
That
gonna
is
need some
a good,
time.
that's a good story. I mean, it was like roses, and it was great. It was a great story, Terry.
Thanks for sharing.
Just like your word of the day. It was perfect.